Good evening, friends. Welcome to Roaring Cycles Listings. I hope all of you had a lovely Diwali and had fun celebrating the festive season. Hi, Kalpana. Thanks for joining. Good evening to you. Today, we are going to have a lovely person come on board and talk about riding, as in learning how to ride well, how to be safe on the road, and what things that you need to do and what you shouldn't. Apart from also talking about his initiative of training people to be more, or rather get better while riding with his expertise and all that. So we will wait for him to join. In the meanwhile, all of you can tell me किसने कितने दिवाली में कितना मिठाई खाया, कितना वजन बढ़ाया, and किसने क्या किया. Cool. We have our guest, and let me add him to our show. Give me a minute. Things have changed in this. Hi Manish, thanks for joining. Hey, hi Sharat. Good evening.
Hello, Shilpa. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on Roaring Cycles Listings. It's a pleasure to have you here.
A pleasure is all
Welcome.
mine. Good evening to everyone who's joined, and belated Happy Diwali to everyone.
Great. Um, okay, Kalpana, I'll come back to that 5 kgs. हम लोग reduce करेंगे उसको. So, so yeah, we have a very loyal audience with us, Sharad over here, and they like to have a lively conversation when they are on interviews with us.
That's nice.
So uh, yeah, so it's all light-hearted. Um, so Sharad, without wasting much time, let's start with your HR question of tell us something about yourself other than being a biker.
By profession, I'm a Merchant Navy officer,
Mm-hmm.
and for the last 18 years, I've been sailing on merchant ships, and for the last 10 years, we've been doing underwater saturation diving vessels. So basically, I'm on diving boats where we
Mm-hmm.
do diving for major oil majors like Chevron, Shell, and
Mm-hmm.
other oil majors like ONGC, Petronas. And
Okay.
also been an entrepreneur for the last 4 years. Uh,
Wow.
got into farming, shrimp farming,
Mm-hmm.
and just turned myself into a business coach and a motivational speaker. So
Oh wow.
that's all me.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Well,
So
I try.
motivational speaker and business entrepreneur. You're into shipping and also shrimps farming and all that stuff. I mean, that doesn't that take too much of your energy off you?
Well, it does. It really does. But what I'm trying to do is shred off things what takes my lot of my energy out. So I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
shred it and be get into a frugal way of operating things. So I'm a learner. So I'm a lifelong learner. So
That's good. I mean, I think everyone should be a learner, and it's good to be that way so that you are like a sponge and you can accept and absorb a lot of things that comes in your way without any much resistance to it.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
my school of thoughts is life is there are so many colors. So
correct.
I am not that sort of a person who would say, okay, I'll start working and I'll just do it for the rest of my life. Life has so many beautiful colors, and I want to enjoy every bit of it. We just got one life. So trial and error, try everything out, whatever works for you, be in it.
Yeah, that your profile itself tells that you love to do a lot of things around.
Yeah.
So Sharad, how did you fall in love with this biking stuff? Like, how did it all start over for you?
Well, I started my biking life quite late actually because I was sailing
Mm-hmm.
for such a long time. And before I joined Merchant Navy, I used to be a professional athlete. I was a footballer, so a
Mm-hmm.
semi-pro footballer because I was in college as well as playing for Super League clubs. But
Mm-hmm.
then thereafter, I had a very bad ACL injury on my left knee, so I had
Oh.
to quit football. But then
Mm-hmm.
after 30 years, that athlete in me was, that was always there. So I had to do something which was, which would, get my adrenaline up. So I don't know why I got into biking, but the first bike that I bought was when I was 31 years old.
Okay.
So that's when I actually started riding a bike. And
Uh-huh.
thereafter, I'm in love with biking now. So I'm a biker at heart.
Wow, that's amazing. So did you go around touring on your bike, or did you just got into, I mean, rather, how did you get into the racing part of things and training and stuff like that?
Well, like I said, I bought my first bike when I was 31, and then I started going on rides with a couple of my friends. And
Mm-hmm.
what happened was in one of those rides, I had a very bad crash.
Oh.
And because I'm always a learner, so I wanted to understand why do people crash? What happens? What is that mindset that you have when you crash? So I
Mm-hmm.
started, I wasn't injured as much because I had just broken my AC joint on my shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
but then I could manage everything. I mean, I didn't have to go and operate myself. But then
Okay.
what I understood was, there is a science behind riding a motorcycle. It's not just you just pick up a bike and start riding because
Correct.
you're out there in the world. From what I feel is when you're sitting in a car or when you're on a bike, it's a killing machine.
Yes.
So, and if you're skilled enough to handle that machine, you're a good rider. So you can be a
True.
hazard to a pedestrian as well. You can be a hazard to yourself as well. So if you train yourself in a right way and handle the machine in a right way, then you can
Mm-hmm.
actually really enjoy a motorcycling, being a biker. You can really enjoy riding a motorcycle, going on tours, racing. So after
Very
that, I
true.
started left self-learning on various things, reading books, blogs,
Mm-hmm.
checking out
Mm-hmm.
so many things, and yeah, then that's how I started my journey. And after that, one of my friend who was an active track rider, I just
Mm-hmm.
thought I said let's go and see what it feels like, to ride on a track. So first track where I went was in Coimbatore,
Okay.
called Curry
Huh.
Speedway. So that is the first track that I went to, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a experience that I can never forget. And thereafter, that track bug bit me, and
Okay.
I haven't stopped since then.
Yeah, I saw you on the other day, like you were riding on that track over here in Vadala, and
Right.
that was really good. And typically, even I think so many times that I should do that one knee down, yeah, one thoda sa curve maru and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't take that risk on the road. Uh, but ठीक है, I may try it sometime, maybe, one of, not on the road though. I will try to get it under a controlled environment kind of a thing. Um, so you said, I mean, when we spoke last, you said you are a certified trainer on the track, and you have been training people for track racing. How did you go about getting that certification?
Well, I have been an educator. Always, I've been an educator. Whatever knowledge I have, I like to give it away. So what happened was because of all these crashes that happened, my personal experience, then I thought I should get into this in a deeper way and understand
Mm-hmm.
what happens or what's the science behind when you ride a motorcycle. in what sort of way you should be equipped, you should equip yourself. So I went to a school. There are many schools that I've been to.
Mm-hmm.
The first being the Apex, CSS, Atomic, many schools where I learned because I was doing my self learning, and also then thereafter I went to these schools, helped me a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
also going to race in a national championship also helped me a lot.
Okay.
Understanding the bikes, how they set up a bike, and
Mm-hmm.
in what sort of way or form you ride that bike.
Correct.
So the whole aspect of racing helped me a lot in setting up the bike, setting up yourself in terms of your mindset, the way you have to, the moment you're sitting on your saddle, what sort of mindset should you have as a biker. So it really actually is of a very great importance that the moment you sit on your bike, you should understand that you should not exceed your skill level, neither should you
Mm-hmm.
exceed your bike's capabilities.
Correct. Yeah.
So everybody, whoever is a biker, should always understand that before they go out on a ride, they should understand that I will not exceed my capabilities, neither will I exceed my bike's capabilities.
True. I mean, it is very necessary to know how best you can handle the machine that you're riding on, and also what is the capacity that your bike can be pushed to stay under, stay steady and under control.
Absolutely.
Many people, because many people we see, there was earlier when I joined various Facebook groups and things like that, there was always this one question that people would put, what is the maximum speed that you touched? And I would actually, I was admin for a couple of those groups. I would just remove that particular question, as in delete the post, because it is not necessary to go and test the speed of your vehicle or top it, or
Right.
go to the top end. What needs to be done is how best you can control your urge to hit that speed, and also how best you can control the vehicle no matter in what speed you're running. So I think not, I mean, speed is not the only thing that people should look for when they are on a bike, motorcycle, as such.
Supporting your statement, I'll give you some very startling information and stats. Okay, please bear with me. So
Sure.
I'm talking about two-wheeler fatalities only, okay? Because I do my homework well. That's the reason I have started the school called Riding Dynamics. So let me just give
Huh.
you statistics, okay?
Okay.
So
Sure.
2009, the two-wheeler fatalities were 26,219. That's the
Oh my
two-wheeler
God.
fatalities in India, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the worst part. In that decade of 2009 to 2019, it has doubled. So
Absolutely.
in 2019, the numbers are
Oh,
58,747 two-wheeler fatalities we are talking about in India.
oh my God. Oh my God. That's
So if
shocking, really.
if this is not shocking to people, and I really don't know what is. And every hour, four people die just because they don't wear helmets.
Absolutely. I agree to that. I have seen
Four
that
people
happen right in
every
front of
hour.
me. I have seen a couple of deaths, wherein, that their neck has been slit just because they have not worn a helmet, and nothing could protect them from something that was hanging around, or, um, few things. And it is so gross to see that happening on the road, as in people go into a trauma when they are not, I mean, just because they have been on the road besides that person and seen that accident, they go into a trauma, and
Right.
for no reason, for no fault of theirs, I would say. So yeah, I agree, helmet is a must at any given point of time.
Yeah, absolutely. People should understand the importance of, first of all, the gear that they wear, the bike that they ride, and have empathy and compassion for people walking on the road, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
there are a couple of things you always have to remember before you go out on a ride. Always have to remember about yourself, your family, your bike, the bike's maintenance. There are so many things involved when you ride. It's not just
Yes.
that you want to go on a Sunday ride and you just out of the blue you just get up and just take the keys and ride off. It doesn't happen like that.
True.
And when people do that, and when they don't take care of their machine, and that is what
Mhm.
leads to all these accidents. So
Yes.
like I said, the whole point of starting this school riding dynamics is out of something. Each and every person who's watching us today, I am absolutely at least 99% sure that every person has lost someone or the other, loved ones or an acquaintance, someone or the other on the road,
True. True.
either by two-wheeler accidents, either by four-wheel, or just as a mere pedestrian. So I'm talking
Yes.
about, it's not that only just because you're a biker or you're a rider or you're in a car or you're a pedestrian. Everybody is at risk, right? So it's
True.
each and everybody's responsibility to understand the way of doing things, the way of
Yes.
walking on the road, the way of driving a car, the way of riding a bike. So I have lost very, very close friends of mine. Uh, uh, a very close friend of mine called, I'll not take his name, but very close friend of mine. And we lost him because he's changed his bike. So when you change your
Mm-hmm.
bike, your style of riding changes.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what happened was he got stuck in between the divider and the trailer,
Mm-hmm. Oh God.
and he was crushed and he was no more. And imagine I was at my farm and I get this call in the morning at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
A friend telling me that our friend had passed away.
That
And
that's so.
I'm very, very sure that if he would have ridden the same bike that he used to ride before,
Mm-hmm.
he wouldn't have crashed.
Yeah, but again, there are many aspects to changing a bike and changing your riding style. I mean,
Yes,
to adapt to
absolutely,
that change.
absolutely.
And not only that, when you are riding on the highway, uh, you have to look out for the bigger vehicles and not try to get into that gap wherever you are. So even I lost a friend very similar to this, or rather, I would say a couple of my riding friends due to this, because they tried to get in between the divider and the truck that was besides them, and unfortunately they couldn't maneuver on time, and they hit badly and fatally, so they
Yeah,
lost their lives.
that's what happens. I lost a very close friend of mine about 3 or 4 months back as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do my weekend ride on Mumbai Ahmedabad highway,
Yeah,
we
that's the most
I
fatal
have
one.
lost yes I have lost count how many boys I've taken to the hospital. To be very honest with you, I have lost count.
I can understand. Yeah.
And when I think about their family, when I think about their parents waiting for them, for lunch, or their family, their wives and children waiting for them, it's heartbreaking. You cannot imagine
Yes.
that feeling when you think of their families.
Yeah.
So
And it's
that's
not so easy to tell them that your person is no more, or your person is fatally hit, or
well,
is
absolutely.
in
I
a
mean,
grave situation.
absolutely, absolutely. So there are so many things attached to it. It's not just just informing their loved ones, but right after the accident happens, their buddies who ride with them, sometimes even they are not there around. So it's
Yes.
like you're trying to first of all understand who the biker is, and then connect the dots as to from where he would have come, and then connect the dots again to finally to their family members. So it's not
Correct.
that easy. So
Yes.
through riding dynamics we also propagate this thing that when you're riding in a group, you make sure that everything that happens, you take care of your buddies when you go out riding. So it's not
Yeah.
just that
So
yeah, sorry.
no, no, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not that when you start riding in a group, everybody is like belting it out, trying to get to the red line, and then forget about your buddies who are there behind.
Correct. Correct. So, you said you have started this school, Riding Dynamics.
Yeah.
Um, so, how long have you been working behind it, and what is the main reason? Like, yeah, I know it is road. It's about being safe on the road,
Right.
but what are you, or how, what, why are you doing this?
Okay, so like I said, Riding Dynamics is a mission-driven project. We are
Mm-hmm.
here to create the next breed of expert motorcyclist. And when I
Mm-hmm.
say expert motorcyclists, the reason we are creating expert motorcyclists to keep them safe on the roads, because there are so
Mm-hmm.
many hazards right now on the road that you cannot even imagine. So we want to make sure each and every rider that goes on the road is an expert motorcyclist, and he has a tool with him to understand a situation where he can take the best action to avoid that collision or a crash.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where we come in. We've got expertise, or we bring our expertise to all the road riders, because generally what happens, I'll tell you the whole riding scenario. What happens is we go to a school, like for example, there are so many schools in India who are focused on track riding. I have been
Yeah.
a advanced level coach as well for other schools. So what
Mm-hmm.
I found out was we were more focused on people getting trained on tracks, and but the problem is not over there. The problem is on the road, and that
Yeah.
is where when I realized, when I lost a couple of friends of mine. So and those friends of mine, they were expert riders, exceptionally great riders who used to race with me, ride with me, exceptionally great riders. But the problem lies is not with the track riders, but with the road riders. So what I've done is
Mm-hmm.
I've whatever knowledge that I've gained through various tracks. I've ridden on foreign tracks, I've ridden on Indian tracks. So whatever knowledge that I've gained, I have condensed it into a curriculum which I will bring to all the road riders now. This will be one of
Mm-hmm.
its kind. What's happening is one of its kind. Nobody has ever done that. We are just trying to do it right now, and
Mm-hmm.
bring that curriculum to all our road riders and teach them the science behind riding the motorcycle, and how great
Mm-hmm.
being a biker is. Only if you're alive you can experience being a biker and understand the world of
Absolutely.
motorcycling. You're a,
Yes.
you're a biker as well.
Yeah, I agree to that. And yeah, I've seen a lot of people, being, I wouldn't say rash, but then yeah, they are too fast, and when it comes to the corners is when they cannot maneuver properly, or they cannot navigate that corner properly, and most accidents typically on these breakfast rides happen because of this. This is something that I've noticed, or in my all these years of experience or riding situations that I've been in, that most of these they miss that view at the end of that curve, and yeah, then they crash because they
See, I'll
cannot
tell you
navigate
some,
that
I'll
curve.
tell you something very funny. What happens is generally, imagine this, some for sub 400 bikers are standing at the toll, after the toll.
Uh-huh.
And then
Yeah.
there are some super bikers who just come in and start revving it up, and then they fly by. Now the 390
Correct.
boys, obviously when you hear that sound, your adrenaline goes up, and now
Yeah.
you want to show them that you are also an exceptionally great rider. You're a very good rider as well. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens is they start chasing them. That has happened with
Right.
me, and I've stopped those boys. So they start chasing you, and when they start
Right.
chasing you, they try to emulate you the way you are riding,
Yeah.
forgetting that the other biker's skill level would be different, the capabilities of his bike would be different, his braking power would be different, the whole thing would be different. But nay,
Correct.
I want to show him that even I can ride well. So that's where most of the accidents happen. So like you
Right.
said, people belt it out on a straight. They go like red line on a straight. The moment a corner comes, right from 120, 130, 140, I'm talking about sub 400s, they come
Yeah.
down to 30 or 40 kilometers per hour, right?
Yes.
Because they then
Yeah.
they cannot anticipate a corner.
Correct.
And I've seen many, many bikers missing those lines in a corner and straight away, flying over the bridge and, rock bottom. So I've taken those boys to the hospital as well. So what happens
Yeah.
is it's not a very great sight. It's not a very good sight. You feel very bad for these boys,
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
you want to teach them that boys, this is not the right way to ride. Okay, if you've got the skill, if you know you want to ride fast, come with me to the track. I mean, riding dynamics caters to all sort of bikers. We'll take
Mm-hmm.
them to the track and let's see, what all timings can you bring in, you know?
Yeah. So that's really a nice thing that you have thought about because I think there aren't many tracks available or rather places or venues available for people, especially in Mumbai,
Correct.
who want to go ahead and practice or improve their skills on the tracks, or while they are so crazy about this cornering, or they are so crazy about going fast, they try it on the road. But I don't blame them entirely because, like I said, they don't have the exact platform to go ahead
Correct.
and practice or
Absolutely.
learn. There's no
Absolutely.
one to guide them properly. So although yes, companies like KTM, or I think TVS, or uh, I think even Hero to some extent, they conduct these track days or track events, but they do not train people to actually. They may show how you need to do it, but there is no proper training or a technical way of showing them how they have to go about this and how to be safe um, on this.
Well,
So,
the kind of, sorry, yeah.
yeah. So coming back to your training, do you have a particular venue or something wherein you uh, plan to put these people on the, give them that kind of environment where they are going to learn how to race around or track around and things like that, or how is it?
Well, Shilpa, like you rightly said, that a couple of manufacturers have done it. But what I feel is I've seen that there are so many bikers that come to the track on that day and they barely learn anything because they're so
Hmm.
excited to be on the track and they forget that they have come there to learn something. Because obviously
Hmm.
when you go out on track, it's more of showing off, boss. I know a lot of things because I'm riding on the road since a long time. So that
Yeah.
is what happens. So that is exactly where we come in so that we
Hmm.
can mold these youngsters in a better way. So if you want to
Hmm.
be a road rider, we'll teach you that, the road craft. If you want to be a racer, we'll teach you the race craft. So that is where we come in. So what we
Hmm.
do is what we have charted out a curriculum is we will be keeping this course for 4 weekends, right?
Okay.
So 4 weekends
Hmm.
of full training and
Hmm.
teaching them whatever we have learned across various tracks, international as well as Indian, and
Hmm.
through different international schools as well. So we have
Hmm.
condensed it in a such a way that all the information that we give to the bikers is going to be very crisp. So no
Okay.
fluff and no BS. It's very to the point which the riders need and which the bikers need, and
Hmm.
which will also include road riding strategies. So
Wow.
yeah, so it'll be very crisp. So when a biker comes in, the moment he finishes those 2 weekends of training, his mind would be completely opened up. So what we do is generally what happens is Shilpa, when we go out to any of the schools, it's 2 days of 2 week 1 weekend of riding. So we go on a
Hmm.
Friday evening, we get
Yeah.
trained on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But what happens is generally there is level one, level two. So you go
Hmm.
initially for level one and level two,
Hmm.
spend Saturday and Sunday a weekend over there. You spend around a
Right.
lakh and a half on that.
Uh-huh.
So
Hmm.
you finish level one and level two. Now then again you
Right.
go for level three and level four,
Hmm.
which again you will spend around lakh and a half, which
Correct.
includes your hotels, your logistics, and everything. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
spend around lakh and a half on that.
Hmm.
So this made me think. I mean, can our bikers, the sub 400 boys who are like just started out working or just out of college, can they even afford that? So I
No,
thought,
not everyone.
so yeah, so that's what our team thought. Okay, what we do is let's just condense whatever we have learned, whatever that we have, the knowledge that we have gained, let's condense it into such a form that it will be digestible pieces of information which they can learn and which
Hmm.
can be applied very well on the road as well as on the track.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come from those schools, like big schools, whatever happens for a weekend, the retention level is only about 25 to 30% because there's so much overload of information that we get when we go out on the bigger tracks.
Correct. Yeah.
And what happens over there as well is that we are on a bigger track. So you're talking about a 3.2 kilometers, like
Mm.
the Madras, the MMRT. Then we
Yeah.
go to Budh International Circuit, which is about 5.2 kilometers. So
Mm-hmm.
generally, what happens is we are riding to the limit, to the bike's limit.
Correct.
So one of the most important aspect over there, what happens is you have gone there for training, but in turn, what happens is when you're pushing yourself, you also crash. So when
Right.
you crash, you hurt yourself as well as your bike.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So again, that was again one of the reason where I thought that I should train these people on a smaller tracks, all the road riders on
Mm-hmm.
a smaller tracks. So what
Mm-hmm.
happens is when you crash, absolutely nothing happens to you. You pick up the bike, you start riding
Mm-hmm.
again. Why? Because
True.
to learn the concepts, you don't have to fly. You can be at a
Absolutely.
60 to 80-kilometer speed, but that
Mm-hmm.
concept is what we will make sure that it's ingrained in your brains and will remain with you forever.
True, because on the roads, not everyone is going to touch that 125, 130, or
Yeah,
150
correct.
speed.
Yeah,
They are more on that 70, 80, or at
correct,
most, I think, on an average, 100 is what they would touch.
correct.
And yeah, with the traffic, ongoing traffic and all that, it is more necessary to know the technique of how to uh, ride through that traffic and keep yourself safe
Correct.
on the highway.
Absolutely. Yes.
So yeah,
So that's
that's a
like I
very
said,
very good.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good thought. In fact, I'd say because that is what is required for the people, as in the youngsters especially, because they need to know how to control that rush in them and maneuver correctly on the road. So
Well,
yes,
they
that's
come to
very
us,
important.
we'll teach them how to control and how to let go
Mhm.
as well. Because we've got a curriculum for racecraft as well, where we'll teach them to belt it out and be a master of it. So
Wow.
anticipate the corners in such a way that they'll be flying, but only on tracks, not on the road. So roads are for riding and tracks are for racing.
Awesome, awesome. That's the way to go, I think, and
Yes,
it's a brilliant idea. I think that you have started this initiative. Uh, but is this initiative so someone say like a lady who is riding, like people like me who go touring, but we don't have or rather we have not had a platform for racing or learning how to race. Do
correct.
you encourage women on a to ride or learn how to go on the race tracks and things like that?
Absolutely, because our team consists of females as well, and
Mm-hmm.
we've got female trainers. You're the head trainer, so we're all about women empowerment. We want women to come ahead, come forward,
Mm-hmm.
start racing, and start riding. You know,
Yeah.
because for me, riding is like a meditation. When I am on the saddle and when I ride, I think of nothing, just ride, or I think of nothing but just riding. So for me,
Yes.
it's meditation. I'm sure for many women who actually want to, ride with their friends and learn or be a part of this motorcycling community, but they're not able to do so because they're not getting the right environment or the atmosphere or trainers, So we
Yeah.
very much welcome female riders and female riders who want to become racers as well. So
Oh, oh, nice.
the team what we have, we've got international racers who will teach
Mm-hmm.
the racecrafts,
Okay.
and there are road riders who would teach the roadcraft. So expert road
Wow.
riders we've got, and we've got the expert racers we've got in the team.
That's a very good mix, I think, so people like us who know to go touring can come and learn how to race, and people who want to do both, or rather want to know how to be good on the road and then on the track, they can do both as well. So
Yeah, well, like I said, I
it's
like
very
to
nice.
enjoy all the colors of life. So I ride on road as well. I race on track as well. And I
Yeah,
enjoy
I
both.
think typically anyone who first gets onto the track is first a road rider and then gets onto the track, because
Absolutely.
without
Very true.
knowing the basics, they can't become a racer. Just गियर डाल के चलाओ, ये नहीं होने वाला, आई मीन नॉट
Yeah,
ऑन द रोड। फिर भी बाइक तो रेस ट्रैक तक तो लेके ही जाना है, सो यू नो दे हैव टू गो ऑन टू द रोड फॉर इट।
correct.
So yeah, that's very beautiful thing that you have done. So it's just to confirm, like it is a 4 day training, like 2 weekends, right?
That's correct.
As in,
So the
okay.
training would start in the morning at 7:30 and
Mm-hmm.
right up to 11 o'clock in the morning, because we wanted to keep that sweet spot of that 7 to 11, because it's
Mm-hmm.
not so hot. So and you're riding your full gear, so the bikers or the riders are much more comfortable to, because you're there to learn. So if you're
Right.
uncomfortable and if you cannot learn, then you're missing that point. So we want the
Yes.
bikers or the riders to be comfortable in that from 7 to 11,
Mm-hmm.
absorb all the information, go practice it on the track, and then come the next day again and do some different drills, and then come the
Mm-hmm.
next weekend, do some different drills.
Cool. So where is this schooling of yours? I mean, where is the venue as such?
Well, the first session we are going to conduct on 5th of December. So
Okay.
5th, so Saturday and Sunday, 5th and
Mm-hmm.
6th, and
Mm-hmm.
thereafter the following weekend. So that will be the
Mm-hmm.
first session, first batch that we are filling in right now. And like I said, generally when we go to all the schools, we spend around a lakh and a half for level one, level two, a lakh and a half for level three, level four. So that's you're almost spending 2.5 lakh on those trainings.
Yes.
So what we wanted to do is we want to cater to all our youngsters and who people who cannot travel all that far. So what we wanted to do is bring it to a price where everybody would love to do it. So we have kept a
Mm.
very modest price of 20,000 rupees, just 20,000 rupees
Wow.
for now, right
That's
now. So just
that's
making sure
crash.
that yeah. I mean, we're just doing it because so that people understand what we are doing and why we are doing it, because this is a mission-driven project.
Right.
So we are welcoming female riders, female racers, boys who are interested in racing, road riding. Age is not the bar.
Wow.
We can train 60-year-olds, we can train
Mm-hmm.
16-year-olds. So it's we are just
Lovely.
open to just teaching or educating our riders.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you also assist them with getting these license for racing or rallies or things
Oh
like
yes,
that?
of
Or
course. So we will help them in getting the FMSCI license as well. We will guide
mm-hmm.
them on how to get it.
Okay.
Yes, we'll definitely guide them. And like I said, we've got in our team, we've got international racers who was a 2019 national champion, Mr. Anish Shetty,
Wow.
and
Uh-huh.
who is also Asian road racing champion. So he races
No.
in that championship as well. So we've
Okay.
got like top of the cream in our team.
That's
So the
amazing. That
so the
I
value that we want to give our community is exceptional. So that's where Riding Dynamics comes in. We are here to create a community of bikers. So when people be a part of Riding Dynamics, so it has to be not just few trainers or few students. It has to be a community where when we go out in the market and go to some manufacturers or go to some guys who are manufacturers of tires, consumables. So the
mm-hmm.
power of this community is what I want to leverage so that people get the best value. So it's
Wow.
all
That
about
that's an
collaborating with each
amazing thought.
each one of us.
That's amazing thought. Amazing thought. So what I wanted to ask you is, yes. So when these people come for training, okay, one, is there a cap for your batch, as in a minimum number of people can only join in?
Right.
Second is, do they have to get their gears, or can it be rented out or something? And do they have to have their own motorcycles?
Okay. So to answer your first question, uh, what we are right now doing is to start with, like I said, we are keeping from 7 to 11. So that is the
Right.
that is the timing that we are keeping so that all the bikers can
Mm-hmm.
come in. And the we are not keeping the gears right now is because of this pandemic what has happened. So
Mm-hmm.
we are avoiding that, keeping the hygiene in mind. So we don't want people to exchange their riding gears,
Mm-hmm.
and also not the bikes as well as of now. And
Okay.
to answer your first questions, we are initially taking just about 12 students, 12 to 15
Okay.
students, because we want to see how
Uh-huh.
well we can operate.
Yeah, correct.
So it's all about giving that value to the riders who come in.
Mm-hmm.
So we are starting with just about 12 to 15 is what we are seeing in first session,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll take them along, both the weekends. And that would be
Cool.
divided, like for example, if we have 12, we'll divide it into 6 and 6,
Mm-hmm.
and then train them. So 6 would be on the track and 6 would be in the class.
Okay. So you have a class session as in a theoretical session, and then you have a practical session,
Yeah, that's correct.
which goes from 7 to 11. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
correct.
4-hour practice.
Yeah.
Cool. That sounds great. And so they will have to have these gears as in a riding pant or riding jacket, riding shoes, gloves, helmet. Is there anything else that I'm missing out in this?
So the riding gear, we are trying to be a little strict on that. So
Okay.
your helmet is a must. Your
Right.
jacket is a must.
Mm-hmm.
Your gloves is a must.
Okay.
Your shoes, if it's a steel toe, we are happy to include you, and
Mm-hmm.
you can get those elbows, and if even not elbow guards, but at least knee guards is what
Okay.
we would want our students to wear.
Uh-huh.
So we're thinking
Um,
in perspective of what if he or she crashes.
right.
So
Yeah,
if you
that's the
can
reason
protect
why
your
I asked.
joints,
So,
yeah, if you
hmm,
can protect your joints, we are more than happy.
correct. When they are wearing just the knee guards, is it necessary to wear jeans or a thick material pants, or how, or just about
No,
any trouser or thing?
jeans, not any trousers. If you're wearing a jeans, you can have the knee guards on top of that. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, if it's a steel toe, because it will protect your toes.
Cool. So
Yeah.
Prem wants to know what kind of helmet are you encouraging, or you say it's a must to be on the track?
See, like most of the people say Snell, Dot. We are happy with ISI also. We've got
Mm-hmm.
excellent Indian brands. So please don't
Can you name
think
some?
that. So there are studs. There is I
Mm-hmm.
think Axor. Then there is Vega. So these are all
Mm-hmm.
beautiful brands. Absolutely beautiful. I had my first crash. I was wearing a Vega, and I had this
Okay.
crack on my skull on the helmet. So
Okay.
literally, it has saved me. So I don't think that you should just think of that Snell and Dot. We do that. We buy that is because we go out on track and we ride. We do high speeds over there.
Right. Yeah.
Not that it's like we become invincible. It's just that
Yeah, but it's
the
more protection to it,
more
right?
protective. Yes,
Correct. Yeah.
but on a smaller
Uh,
track, your ISI is good enough.
cool. Yes, Prem. Absolutely, it has to be a full face. You can't wear a
Yo,
half
absolutely.
face, and you can't wear a
Oh,
half face and go into the track. So Tulunad
absolutely.
Diaries is from Udupi, Karnataka, and
Okay, nice.
he loves to bike around,
Right,
and
nice, nice.
he's one of our he loves to be on our shows, and he's been with us for quite a few shows as
Awesome,
interviews.
awesome, awesome, awesome.
So we
Yes,
have
full face
Kalpana,
is a must.
we have few people, Kalpana, Yogesh, Prem, and few others who are regular with us.
Right.
Uh, they they are almost there on all our shows, all our
Okay.
interviews, and they love to listen to us.
Can I
So,
can I just give you a
yeah,
few
so
things
full
about
face
the
is
helmet?
absolutely necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is a
go ahead.
reason behind it. So when you say half face is not covering your chin, right? So in case
Correct.
if you have a crash and you bang your chin, you can very well, damage your chin. So, and we don't want modular helmets also, preferably not modular, is because, modular is something that you can just open it up.
Yes,
So
it
sometimes
fixed
you
off.
have not fastened it properly, and it might just open up, and then again you can hit your chin. So we don't
Correct.
want to do that. So full face helmet is a must.
Cool. And coming to the bikes, what type of bikes are allowed on the track? Is
See,
it like, do they really have to have those ninja kind of a thing or a CBR kind of a race? racing thing, you know? I mean, a sports tourer or a sports bike, is it necessary, or
Absolutely,
what is?
no, absolutely not. Like I said, we are here for road riders and we are here for racers as well. So when I talk about road riders, whatever ride you have, right from your 100 cc to sub 400. Now, the reason I'm saying sub 400 is because these are smaller tracks. So
Mm-hmm.
we've got friends who've got Hayabusas and us. So what we would tell them is to bring a smaller cc bike, and
Mm-hmm.
gradually when we see that people are coming in, we will keep our own bikes, which would be about one R15s and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it should be much better for people who own bigger bikes but want to get trained, so that it'll be much better for them as well.
So a lot of people love this bullets. So the question is like, do you allow these bullets to get on the racetracks?
We did a track testing, and believe it or not, we had a bullet. We had called one of our friend's friend, and we said, just try it. And he was so happy. He said, I mean, he was like, when can I ride? Seldom do you get a chance to take your GT or like your RE to a track.
Yeah,
So
correct.
he was
Yeah.
absolutely, elated when he got to get his bike on the track. So yes, absolutely, yeah, we are looking forward to it.
Cool. So, Prem, that answers your question that you can get your RE Electra to the racetrack and come and join us. So, you'll have to come from Karnataka to Mumbai though for training with us. We can't come there as of now.
As of now, yes, the plans are to go to each and every city where there are track. Even if karting tracks, we are trying to
Hmm.
target those karting tracks and go and reach the bikers over there.
Yeah, cool. So Yogesh says that one second. Yeah, he says the RE GT 650 will perform awesome on the track. So Yogesh 650 is not allowed. We are only going sub 400. That is under 400 cc. So if you have a 350, you can get. If you have a 500, you cannot come with us. Sorry.
No, I would like to just I would just like to address Yogesh. Yogesh, the reason being 650 is quite a powerful bike.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. The reason we say sub 400 is because it's a little underpowered. So the whole point of bringing sub 400 is that you can control the bike. So the
True.
650s are a little more powerful for such smaller tracks. Yes, of course, when we go to bigger tracks, like I said, when we are looking at karting tracks, so depending on the track, now the first track that we are going to is Ajmera Indy Karting. So that's quite a
Mm-hmm.
small and a tighter track. All the corners are very, very tight. So
Right.
we would be the riders would be comfortable riding a sub 400s. I would be more than happy to get my boys who got Hayabusas and 1000 cc's, but it's absolutely impractical over there. So
Yeah,
absolutely
I
impractical.
saw that track. I saw the track the other day when I was with you. And
Yes,
yes, I agree. It's too small to maneuver around that if you are in a good speed. And when you have a higher CC, even on a second gear, you would cross 60, 70 easily. And
correct.
to manage at that speed in those turns, as in those tight turns, it gets difficult. So yeah, Yogesh, even if you say if it is manageable, I kind of disagree with you and agree with Sharat that it does become unmanageable when you have to hit the tight corners out there.
Yogesh,
Um,
I'll tell you something very interesting. Huh? The when you get those 650s, you feel that yes, you can ride over there. But trust me, we have taken 250s. We have taken CBRs, 250s.
yes,
Even those bikes are a little powerful over there. Powerful in the sense, when I talk about concepts, you can learn those concepts when you're at a slower speeds. Because even if you
yeah,
make a slightest mistake, I'll be able to pinpoint exactly what you are doing wrong. Because I want the
yes,
concepts to be clear. The speed is all about perception. You
true.
you keep you keep moving your perception to a higher level. So speed is all about perception. When you come out on the track for the first day, you might anticipate or take that corner at, let's say, 30 kilometers per hour. But as you move gradually, last day of the course, you might do it 45, 50. So that speed is a perception. So I don't believe in those speeds. That is why whenever the bikers, when they come on track, I always tell them try to be smooth. The more smoother you are with your throttle, the more smoother you are with your lines, the much faster you are. Some people, what they do is they belt it out, revving like no man's business. You feel that he's fast, or the rider feels that he's going very, very fast. But to be honest with you, when you see the timings, because you're always hard braking, you're doing everything, you're like literally wrestling with the bike. So I always tell my bikers, the riders whom I train, that go very, very smooth, and everything is on the throttle and your lines.
Yes.
So if you're smooth and
Cool.
if you're smooth with your lines and your throttle, you'll be fast.
Awesome. So Kalpana has a couple of questions for you. One is, what about the tires? Do you need any specific tires? And also, what are the track surfaces made of?
Well, it's a Indy karting track, so it's a karting. So the track is it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Only few things that because it's a karting, so there's no clearance, so it keeps banging onto the tarmac, and there are small grits which come out. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do is when we go out on the track, we make them clean the whole track.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about tires, road tires, as long as your tires are in proper condition to ride, we'll accept your bikes, because we don't want you to go out there and crash. So please, before you come, just check your threads, check your brake lines, brake pads, your tires, then your gear, everything. Just make sure that before you come to the track, make sure that you're mentally prepared, your bike is prepared, and then we can teach you in a very, very proper way, so that even when you go out on the track, so you're not scared about anything. Because otherwise some people, यार मेरा टायर घस गया है, पता नहीं क्या होगा, right handers, left handers, right में घस गया है, left में नहीं घसा. A whole lot of things people come up with. So we've seen that.
True. Okay.
So road tires
Abhishek
is your answer.
Okay. So no button tires and no no
Well, of course, no
rounded
button
tires are
tires.
requiring.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a tarmac track,
So
so of course, no button tires.
absolutely. Yeah. So Abhishek has one more question for you, and that is like, there are different ways to sit when one is turning a corner. What is the right way to move the body while managing these curves?
Well, I can take a whole day actually. Sorry, I missed his
Na-
name.
I,
Abhishek.
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 Yeah, but you just have
Abhish
7 minutes to go, so we will keep it really
So
short.
I'll keep it crisp. Okay, so Abhishek, whenever you anticipate a corner or when you take a corner, when you're on a track, we always tend to put our leg out and try to touch, hit the apex. But when you're doing road rides, we don't generally do that. The reason being, first of all, the environment that you're in, maybe you might not know if the corner is getting tighter or it's opening up. So make sure
Right.
that you're aligned with your bike. Okay. As you lean your bike, your body also leans with the bike. So,
Mm-hmm.
this is, you're always leaning with the bike and not like this. So you're this and your bike is like this. It's like a recipe for disaster. You're going to crash. So
Correct.
we have seen riders doing that, and that's called survival reaction. The survival reaction automatically kicks in the moment you lean your bike. So that's the survival reaction which we will remove out of you.
Okay, cool. That's I think that is very necessary, because if you tilt your body the opposite way and you're going the other way,
Right.
it kind of acts as a counter steer, and when you're in the corner, you lose your balance when you're doing that. As
Yeah,
in,
you're going against the gyroscopic force because
exactly.
you have leaned your bike. Now the bike wants to turn, and you're countering your body to that forces. So obviously, you're bound to crash. Yeah.
True,
And also,
true.
if there is some hazard in front of you, then you cannot, dodge that hazard as well. But if you're leaned with your bike, you can dodge any hazards also. Maybe a wet surface or maybe some grit on the road.
True. Oh, I didn't realize Roshan was here. Roshan says, uh, I mean, he's answering Kalpana's question, saying that stock tires will do, or radial tires will give you a better grip and more corner stability. Thanks, Roshan, for that. So yes, I agree. When you have to get into that corner or a better grip, yes, radials help. Although the compound is a little soft, but for the track, it's good.
Yes, of course, it's good.
Cool. So any particular message that you would like to give our audience out here before
Well,
we?
my message is all about my mission is to keep our road riders safe and create the next breed of expert motorcyclists, female, male, age no bar, gender no bar. We just want motorcyclists who are biker at heart, passionate about biking, and who wants to up their level of information what they have, and who are ready to unlearn and learn again.
Mm-hmm.
So we are building a very lovely community here at Riding Dynamics. It's unlike any other, and we are not just stopping at this one track. The mission and the vision is to go pan India, take Riding Dynamics to each and every city, and have our ambassadors over there and propagate safe riding across the country.
Thank you. So Yogesh is very keen to meet you. So he says he'll come and meet you next week. So Yogesh, you can message him on this ID and get his telephone number, or you can contact me. I can give you his contact number um, there. And yeah, so Abhishek is very keen on continuing this interview because he loves to. Abhishek is the founder of Roaring Cycles, okay,
Okay.
and he loves to go on rides. In fact, he does go on rides. उसको एक दिन छुट्टी मिला तो भी सुबह में निकल के भाग जाएगा, whether it's a weekday or anything. He just needs that one push in the morning कि अब मुझे जाना है तो मैं निकल जाता हूँ, you know, that way kind of a guy.
So he's biker
And
at heart. That's what we call
oh
biker
yes,
at heart.
absolutely, biker at heart, biker at soul. And so he created this platform so that all bikers and entrepreneurs who are related to biking stuff can come and list themselves with us so that everyone can connect with each other
Absolutely.
on this platform. So this is his
Absolutely.
initiative.
So very, very nice initiative, and I'm glad to be a part of this initiative. And whatever information I had, hope it helped people. And I would look forward
Absolutely.
to all these participants who are there come and experience how to get trained in a professional way, and be our ambassadors. Go out on the road and start riding.
Yes. One last question I had, I mean, just struck when you said this now. Is, so suppose someone wants to come in for a 1 day trial kind of a thing, can they do that?
Right now, we cannot do it is because we need to book the track. And
Uh-huh.
when you're talking about South Bombay booking the track, it's not cheap. So what we do
Correct.
is we book it for like 4 hours, and so we cannot keep any sort of trials. Yes, if there is one or two bikers when we are doing the next track testing, I can call maybe one or two bikers, but not more than that.
Okay. Yeah, all these are 1 or 2 bikers, so you will just give them one at a time. Okay, don't give them everyone. सब लोग को एक साथ मत
So
बुला
we are
मत
going to
परेशान
have one
करना
more.
फिर.
We are going to have one more track testing for which we will keep one slot open for one biker to come in for the next track testing.
Sure. So Abhishek says we shall do one session for Roaring Cycles followers only, so
Absolutely.
that we all can come and actually pester you with our questions and
Please do
training
come.
and
Like I
everything.
said, fifth is our first school, and trust me, the price what we have kept, you can check it out online. Any of the schools that's going on in India, we are not competing with them because this
Mhm.
is one of its kind school. We are not here to just focusing on track riders. We are here more focused on solving a problem here. So the price point that we have kept is for 4 weekends we are talking about, and that too on a
Mhm.
track. So it's a steal, I'm telling you. So you can check it out if you
Absolutely.
want.
Yeah, I agree to that. So yes, thanks for being with us, Sharath, and it was really wonderful talking to you. And the audience, yes, they have enjoyed a lot
I
listening to
hope so.
you.
I hope
So
so.
all the best for your endeavor and this initiative, which is really great. And I will see to it that all these people who have talked here come down for a session with you on the track for sure. So have a
Awesome.
lovely evening and
Thank you so
enjoy
much.
yourself.
Thank you.
Take
Pleasure
care.
was all mine. It was awesome being a part of this journey. Uh, and I
Thank
hope
you.
it helped people. Thank you so much and have a very good
Absolutely.
night.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. And guys, I will see you all on Sunday at 5 p.m. with another story from another biker. So till then, yes, do try to take at least one session with Sharad. I'm sure you people will love it, and I have been there. So yes, that really gives the adrenaline rush. So take care, enjoy, and have a lovely week ahead. And see you all on Sunday. Bye bye.